corruption itself is a cancerous tumor that has eaten into the very fabric of our existence.
It is commonsensical and logical that if it takes a man with 2 legs.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian justice system has failed the common man.
And the reason why that girl presents her body to that lecturer for malpractice is because she is fully aware.
And in our own education system, corruption is a culture. How can bribery not be a way of life?
Hello and welcome to the Expression Debates, brought to you by Youngsters Foundation with support from DFID Nigeria and other partners. This youth initiative is created to give the Nigerian youth a voice to speak and encourage participation in contemporary national issues. My name is Anastasia Odo, and together with me in the studio today,
Mariam Junedu, and I am happy that you could join us on today's episode, which promises to be fun and engaging. It's been a battle of brains, wits and oratory as 32 audacious undergraduate teams from over 20 tertiary institutions in Nigeria emerged from the regional auditions in Enugu, Lagos and Abuja to get to this grand finale where we have just 8 teams left and standing. I'm so excited. This is
amazing. I'm excited as well. I mean, watching the entire 32 teams move through the elimination series into the semi-finals where we had 16 teams, and now into the finals where we have 8 teams standing and battling for the grand prize of 500,000 naira, second prize 300,000 naira, and third prize 200,000 naira.
No, I'm never going to get used to hearing this. For an undergraduate, even as a graduate, it's not going to be a bad idea to be a part of this competition, or what do you think?
Totally agree with you.
Anyways, today promises to be worth your time as viewers get to win stuff too. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll give you the highlights of today's package. Stay on this channel.
Welcome back. This is the Expression Debates, brought to you by Youngsters Foundation with support from DFID Nigeria and other partners. This youth initiative is created to give the Nigerian youth a voice to speak and encourage participation in contemporary national issues. So what do we have for amazing audience today, Mayor?
Exciting stuff. 2 teams are going to be debating on the panacea of ending public service corruption in Nigeria is strong leaders and not strong institutions. So since this is the grand finale, each team has just one chance to move closer to that star prize of 500,000 naira.
Wow, and our viewers are not left out. You could participate in our weekly competition to win recharge cards and also participate in our campaign I Choose Integrity to stand a chance to win wonderful and really cool prizes.
To participate and win, log on to our website on the screen or check us out on our social media platforms for more information.
Well, on today's episode, the debate topic is saying the panacea for ending public service corruption in Nigeria is strong leaders and not strong institutions. Do you agree with this? Do we need strong leaders?
I think both actually work hand in hand, because if you have strong leaders, we'll definitely have strong institutions as well. But then, strong institutions may be a bit independent of strong leaders. But anyways, we are not debaters, so I'm sure our debaters will be able to shed more lights on that. But before we go to the debate arena, let's just go to the streets and see what Nigerians have to say about this. We'll be right back.
The echelon in the government sector, those people, we have not seen a reduction in the kind of flamboyant lifestyle that these people are living. You look at the ministers, look at the members of the House of Reps, I'm not really seeing any serious commitment on their part to feel that they have done much enough to say that they are really serious about the fight against corruption. Because it's when they start from their own point, everybody down the ladder will have to adjust.
You were there before. What did you do? If given the chance now, what would you do differently? For those of them that have never been to office and that are now scheming and canvassing the public to vote for them, the question should be, before now, where were you? What did you do show us evidence of capability, of capacity. I think it's high time we all come to the realization that Nigeria is like any other enterprise. You cannot give a country as big, as complex, as difficult as Nigeria, whether it's at the federal level, at state level, at local government level, to people who have not demonstrated, who have no track record of performance or achievements. I think that is one major mistake we have made repeatedly. 2019 provides us with opportunity. The fact that you've held office, question is, what did you do? What are you most proud of? What is it that you have done that you want Nigerians that or qualifies you for a second term? Nigerians need to be able to ask those questions. And if you are coming afresh, the question is, you are coming afresh, yes, but what is it that sells you? What makes you different from all of those that have, come across, that we have come across in the past, and that have only held our country down?
Wow, amazing views coming from Nigerians there. But it's time to meet our debaters today, arguing their points for and against the motion.
Yes, so for today, we'll be having Team Villabi Joseph from the University of Benin and Team Dunamis from the University of Ibadan.
I'm here to strongly support the notion that says that the panacea for the fight against public service corruption or corruption in the public service is strong leaders and not strong institutions. Before I go on, I would like to define some key concepts. Institutions can be defined as organizations or established laws and customs. This is the definition given by dictionary.com. Public service can be defined as established jobs that are funded by the government. Having described these key concepts, I will move over to my points. Weak institutions are only made strong by strong leaders, and weak institutions cannot become strong and fight against corruption if there are no strong leaders. Before 2001, NAFDAC had existed for 7 years, but until the advent of Dora Akinyuli, nobody really heard of NAFDAC. How can I forget Dora Akinyuli, who was described as an uncommon Nigerian? She fought against the corrupt practices in the sector of drug abuse. It was noted that Dora Akinyuli raised the statistics of non-registered drugs from 16% to 68%. How can I forget Malam Nuhu Ribadu, an erstwhile chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission? During his time, there was a gross reduction in corrupt practices in states and federal government levels. Malam Nuhu Ribadu fought strenuously against corruption. He was a good leader, and because he was a good leader, the institution became strong. You cannot become a strong institution if you don't have good leaders that are strongly involved in that institution. How do I forget the SY comrade governor of Edo State, the head of the Nigeria Labour Congress at some point, when during his tenure, salaries were quickly paid to workers. Comrade Adams Oshomole, at that time, fought against the corrupt practices and the delay in the salary of state government workers and federal government workers. These are strong leaders that fought for strong institutions and not otherwise. Also, history has made us to understand that strong institutions, strong leaders have actually been helpful in the fight against corruption and not strong institutions. How do I forget Nelson Mandela, the man who fought against apartheid Africa? Then I tell you that there are institutions in South Africa before the advent of Nelson Madiba Mandela. Even Nigeria can never forget Nelson Madiba Mandela. How do I forget Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, the president of Liberia? Before she came into Liberia, I want to tell you that Liberia was a war-torn country with civil wars and owed a lot of debt, about $4.9 billion debt in 2006. Ellen Sirleaf Johnson came, and in 2012, she had cleared all the debt. She was a strong leader, and there were institutions in Liberia. How do I forget that institutions are never the panacea for the fight against public service corruption, but strong leaders? I also want to talk about nationalism. The fight for nationalism has been spearheaded by strong leaders in our country, Nigeria, and not strong institutions. How do we forget Herbert Macaulay? How do we forget Nnamdi Azikiwe? How do we forget Ahmadu Bello? In fact, some institutions here that's ably represented, we are named after Ahmadu Bello. We have Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. How can I forget Obafemi Awolowo? We have Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. These are people who are leaders that spearheaded the fight against corruption and against colonialism in Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, Nigeria was able to emancipate from the claws of racism, colonialism, and slavery because these were strong leaders. You can never substitute strong leaders with strong institutions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, impartial judges. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight against corruption is not a one-year fight or a one-tenure fight. Lord Atkins once said, "Power tends to corrupt, while absolute power corrupts absolutely. As such, as long as people remain in positions of power, there is the tendency to be corrupt. In other words, the fight against corruption is a continuous one. Therefore, the bone of contention in this debate is whether the panacea for the continuous fight against corruption in the public sector is strong leaders or strong institutions. And we boldly assert that strong institutions are the panacea. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines panacea as a remedy for all ills or difficulties, while an institution is defined as a significant practice, law, custom, relationship, organization in a culture or society. It should be noted that the scope of this debate is the public sector, and therein lies our argument. According to an article titled "Corruption in Nigeria's Public Sector," published in the Mediterranean Journal of Social Sciences, corruption is a consequence of weak social and cultural values. In other words, strong institutions can only imbibe strong cultural values and social values in humans. The family institution, which is the first point of socialization for a child, is influential in the upbringing of the child. Also, according to Erik Erikson, a prolific psychologist, in his psychosocial theory, identity and mentality formation occurs at the adolescent stage. In other words, a corrupt person formed his corrupt mentality as an adolescent, and it is not gainsaying that majority of adolescents are in primary or secondary school, and we cannot undermine the influence educational institutions have over adolescents. Distinguished audience, if Shegun Waya, the adolescent who, when asked what he wants to do in the future, said, "I want to chache," that is online fraud, was brought up by strong family and educational institutions, he wouldn't have such weak cultural and social values. If my opponents say that it's humans, teachers and parents who are in these institutions, let them know that without institutions as platforms, these humans cannot influence children. Without the family institution, a man cannot influence a child. For it is because the child sees the man as a father and head of the family institution that he succumbs to his influence. Also, without a school, a person cannot be a teacher. Therefore, without institutions serve as platforms for influence, without which there is no influence. In addition, the risk-benefit theory, also known as principle of deterrence, provides that when punishment for corrupt practices is light, people are encouraged to go into corruption. But when punishment is severe, public servants are scared to engage in corrupt practices, according to Azalema 2002. This principle of deterrence can only be effectively implemented through institutions. For instance, the criminal justice system, which includes EFCC, ICPC, is a legal institution. My opponent has mentioned strong leaders with strong values who took cogent actions to deter corruption in the public service. They may mention General Murtala Mohammed, who has reported in an article on the Vanguard on February 12, 2016, to have sacked over 10,000 public officials on grounds, one of which was corruption. However, after General Murtala's abrupt end, corruption in the public service resurrected. This is because values of strong leaders only last beyond their generation when they are institutionalized, something General Murtala didn't do. Just as soldier goes, soldier comes, barrack remains, leaders go, leaders come, but institutions remain. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, John C. Maxwell, a leadership expert, defined a leader as a person who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. However, a leader does not automatically know the way when he is born. He is taught the way. If corrupt institutions teach him the corrupt way, that is the way he knows, shows, and goes. But if strong institutions teach him the strong way, that is the way he knows, goes, and shows. And it's these strong institutions that we need. Thank you.
If you're just joining us, this is the Expression Debates brought to you by Young Stars Foundation with support from DFID Nigeria and other partners. This youth initiative is created to give the Nigerian youth a voice to speak and encourage participation in contemporary national issues.
8 teams battling, arguing for the star prizes of 500,000 naira, 300,000 naira, and 200,000 naira for the first, second, and third places, respectively. You know, at this point, I think I need to make a comment.
Please, by all means.
The first speaker from Team Bilabi Joseph. I mean, it's obvious that he's bringing this home.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you hearing her right
Really
now?
intelligent.
Sure?
What do you think?
Bilabi Joseph?
What do you think?
I think for me it's Team Dunamis.
Really?
Yes, Team Dunamis, they have it. They are on point.
Okay.
I love the way they presented their points. I love the way they went about their argument and all of that. It was organized. It was a deliberate attempt to just murder the points,
Okay,
man.
your opinions, though. Your opinions, so I won't argue with that.
Well, let's go back to the debate arena. Let's see the second speakers from both teams do justice to this motion.
The position of opposition team today is quite disturbing because they've shown to us today that they do not really care about the foundations of a building and discredit the book, the holy book, that says if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Invariably, they say to us that we can erect a skyscraper on the foundation of a bungalow. The foundation of any institution is the leadership. And for any institution to stand, there has to be a strong leader. As strong foundations hold strong buildings. Leadership, number one, the good leaders, number one, imbibe good moral values into the members of institution. What my team opposition here failed to understand is that a leader is a person that influences the activities and actions of others. If a leader is bad, there is every tendency for him to influence the institution to the wrong way. As a man does not show the way, he doesn't know. So a bad leader takes the people through a bad route, as a good leader takes the people through a good route. It says something about General Murtala Mohammed, who in 1975 restructured the civil service and made the civil service become a better one. But he left and the thing fell back to where it was, which only shows one thing, that good leaders actually make good institutions. That is, if another leader who was good like Murtala Mohammed had come after him, there is every tendency that the civil service of Nigeria would still have continued to be a good institution today. So, team opposition, I'll be doing injustice to myself, disservice to you, and it will be inhumanity to my nation if I do not educate you that good leaders are what we need as the panacea to cure the menace of corruption in Nigeria. Let me also remind you this, that a leader is a person that moves the people forward. Leaders are known to build strong institutions and not institutions leaders. You may say that the people, the voice of the people is the voice of God. But I ask you a question. If the people speaks and the leaders refuse to answer, what happens? You revolt. A similar case happened in Uniben this year. We protested against the increase in fees. The leaders came, shut the school, and here we are, voiceless, doing nothing. That is to show you that the leaders have ways of influencing the activities of people. Thank you.
I remain Adeshoko Adediran of Team Dunamis, here to further prove that strong institutions and not strong leaders are the panacea to ending the public service corruption in Nigeria. As I begin, dear audience, our conception of the term institution must be widened. For according to the Merriam-Webster definition of institution provided by my chief speaker, an institution also correctly includes a law or a policy. According to an article published in 2014 in the International Journal of Public Administration and Management Research, the Tafawa Balewa regime was blamed on policy grounds for the widespread corruption in the First Republic. The underlying philosophy behind this assertion is that long-lasting, well-implemented policies, now rightly called institutions, are the best bet for ending corruption in Nigeria's public service. Furthermore, the multifaceted nature of corruption in Nigeria necessitates the establishment of diverse institutions to tackle the various forms of corruption. Like Joseph's coveted cloak, Several forms of corruption in Nigeria include bribery, tribalism, nepotism, embezzlement, outright looting, amongst many others. So, a strong leader who wants to put an end to corruption and not merely pat his back must resort to distinct institutions, be it a policy or an organization, to tackle these different forms of corruption. Else, he or his or her failure is inevitable. In conclusion, according to page 9 of an article published on the Punch newspapers of December 16, 2012, by the renowned Femi Falana, SAN, corruption is now an institution in Nigeria. If corruption were to be personified, I would say that he is wise enough to know that his sustained existence is dependent on his institutionalization. So, if we are going to put an end to this menace, then the first step is accepting that strong institutions are the panacea to the termination of the institution of corruption in Nigeria. Thank you.
Wow, what an awesome energy coming from Team Dunamis, coming from Team Bilabi Joseph. But I think it's still Team Dunamis for me. They're taking it home.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Team Dunamis all the way.
Okay, you know, before I spoke about the first speakers, I haven't seen the second speakers. But now I've seen the second speakers. I think I'm going to go 50-50 on this one. I can't decide.
No 50-50. I'm Team Dunamis.
Okay, all right. But of course, we are not the judges. So
okay,
let's just go to the scoring board and see what the panel of judges have decided. We'll be right back.
Wow, Team Dunamis, you made it, guys. You made it to the grand finale and you took it home for me. Congratulations, guys. No, you were 50-50, girl. She was 50-50, I was Team Dunamis.
Okay.
Congratulations, guys, for your courage, for your resilience all through the process up until this time. I just want to wish you good luck.
Yes, so of course, esteemed viewers, you are not left out. You can participate in our weekly quiz to stand a chance to win recharge cards, and also join our campaign, I Choose Integrity, to stand a chance to win lots and lots of exciting prizes. To participate and win, log on to our website on the screen or check us out on our social media platforms for more information.
And as we close, I want to say a big thank you to our partners for making this a reality. God bless you. And until we come again, next week, this time, same station, we say, together we can build a Nigeria free of corruption in our lifetime if you join us.